what happens here. And I'll wait a second, just waffle for a bit while we get started. The reason I'm here today is to try and share something that has been making me cross, really, to be very honest. I've watched journalists working over the years, and the one thing I've always been critical of is journalists are great at bringing problems. They don't bring solutions. They're positively negative. So I'm going to ask you guys today to do something slightly different. I'm not going to say the government should do anything, because they shouldn't. Do you know what? If your car runs out of petrol, it's your fault. If you don't put oil in your engine and the engine's wrecked, it's your fault. It is not the fault of governments, any government, I don't care where it is on the planet. It is not the fault of the government to do things. If you want to go outside when it's freezing cold, like here in Slovakia today, if I could turn round and show you what's happening out there, it's like a blizzard. It really is. There's snow everywhere, huge strong winds. It's ripped the covers off the fence. Nothing I can do about it. It's not the government's fault. If I want to go out with no t-shirt on, apart from making everybody go indoors because they'd run away, the fact is it's my decision, my fault. If I get sick because I don't wear a t-shirt, I am the stupid one. Now, in the terms of the coronavirus, it's a lot more dangerous. Hi, Mark. The fact is, governments can never ever control this pandemic. It's up to you to actually control it for the government. That people talk about people power, journalists are always talking about it. The fact is, this is the time for people power. You have the power. You have the power to help control this coronavirus. If you don't, do you know the only person you're killing is your friends, your neighbours, your older relatives? It's up to you to actually stop it. So like I said, if you don't put petrol in your car and you run out, it's not government's fault. I don't care where the government is. It can be in Australia, it can be in America, it can be in Slovakia, it can be in the UK. Morning, Steve. It is, and Steve, you can do me a favour. Get this out to your 5,000 friends. If you, as an individual, screw governments, if you, as an individual, you get the message out there of social separation, distance yourself, social distancing, whatever you want to call it. Wash your hands, wear a face mask. You will be the one that is helping get rid of the coronavirus first. You're the one. You're the angel. If you want to do it, do it. But don't ask government to say to you what time you should go to bed, when you should go to the loo, whether you should wear a face mask or not, whether you should wash your hands, put surgical gloves on. Because that's up to you. The fact is, and this is true, and I don't think I'm terribly proud of it, I'm old. I am. I'm 66 this year. Hi to Inverness. Hello, Alan. Hi to Chris. I'm 66 years old. I've had heart problems. I'm asthmatic as well. And on Friday I thought, I'm going nuts. And I know you feel like that. I know you feel like it's all closing in on you. It isn't really. You're being told to stop at home and watch the telly. That's a piece of cake. Compared to people in the Second World War who weren't told that. They were told to go out and fight, get killed. You're being told to sit on the couch at home. But I had to go into the office on Friday because I love doing the show with Postcard. I love interacting with you guys, and it's just something incredibly special. Now, I could have been stupid like I normally am. I know me. Hi, Paul. I know me. I am a bit gung-ho. But on Friday, I wore surgical gloves. I had barrier cream. I then took the gloves off. I washed my hands with proper soap and water. I wore a face mask. And I looked around before I got out the car, making sure nobody was going into the office building. And when I saw it was all safe, just like crossing the road, I went in. I didn't talk to anybody, didn't see anybody. And the minute I got inside, I washed my hands. I took the mask off. I threw the surgical gloves in the bin. Put new ones on. Seriously did. And do you know what? I'm thinking to myself, if I can do that, why can't everybody else? I'm not suggesting everybody's got to wear or have surgical gloves, but you can do something. Excuse me, I am going to cough. I just had to turn the microphone down. Old habits. So my point is, you have got to, seriously, you have got to do something yourself. Your wife is wearing gardening gloves to give you a cuddle. That's probably from something else, Paul. And that's a long time ago. Soap is hard to find or to get hold of these days. Is washing up liquid any good? Yeah, it is, Steve. Washing up liquid's fine. It's better than Nout. And in actual fact, if you've got really hot water and scrub your hands hard enough, that's not bad either. It's not as good as using proper soaps and things like that, no. But it's a good start. But if you stay away from people, you can still chat to people. You know, every morning, it's what gave me the idea last week of the WhatsApp campaign to get people talking to each other. Again, this morning, Mrs. W was on the phone. They had a little conference call using WhatsApp, and it's not a problem. You're quite right, Paul. Soap is not something that there's a shortage of at the moment. And in actual fact, what will happen is, because people can't store any more things at home, the natural progression of goods into shops will happen. And and I speak as one whose father was in retail for a very, very long time. And as a young lad, I can remember having to see, I stood there in awe. I was a little lad, and this helicopter came down, or not quite right down, with a huge bag underneath it, sort of a big net thing. And in it was the groceries for my father's shop. It was 1960s, and we were frozen in for 2 weeks. There was nothing, and so I know what it's like to have nothing. And I mean, tearing up the newspapers to make toilet roll and all the rest. But the thing is, when you go out, you could be carrying the virus. I hope you aren't. I hope you never do. I hope you never will. But you could be. And so if it is that you will stop going out, stop going to the pub, watch the telly, or better still, listen to the radio, which is more entertaining anyway, then you probably have done something amazing. Indirectly, you could quite possibly have saved a life. You could have saved a life. Nice to see you guys chatting around. As they Paul, it's a great thing. I'm trying to remember who it was I was doing this with, and I think it was Debbie Flint on one of the shopping channels, where there's lots of small pieces of soap, and we put them into this container. It was a bit trickery, really, to be honest. Put some water in, one of those squeegee, like washing up liquid bottles. You put all the rubbish bits of soap in there. You leave them for about a month, and keep shaking it up every now and again. And then, do you know what happens? You got a whole container full of foamy soap from the stuff you would have thrown away. You're saving money. And I bet everybody's got one of those little pumpy squeegee things somewhere. So yeah, you can make your own kind of soaps. And there's a whole bunch of people that will sell you the goodies to make stuff. And it will clean you up. It's true. It's true. So you don't have to waste. I think we've got into a very waste society where we throw everything away. Not me. I'm the world's worst. Or as Mrs. W calls me in Slovak, a hoarder. But that's me. So my message today really is, just please think about what you're doing. Don't blame everybody else for something that's going wrong. None of the governments started it. In fact, I know President Trump is calling it the Chinese virus, and he probably is. It's true. It came from China. But it's not the Chinese government that started it. And I'm not going to go down the road of all this rubbish that Putin's putting out. And they're like, hi, Vieka, hard at work, and everybody else. Because you can control it. Your time. You have the power to stop people getting sick. Because a lot of times people don't even know they've got the coronavirus and they carry it. It's the same with many other viral things. And it's been the same for ever, really, I guess. Because normally antibiotics don't work when you've got a viral situation like this. So, you don't know if the person you're about to go and give a hug to has got the virus or not. So why would would you put your hand in the fire? Would you really put your hand in the fire if it is that you knew you were going to get burnt? So if that's your logic, then why on earth would you go and put yourself in front of A, catching the virus, or B, giving the virus? Both are the same. Starting in live animal markets, they need to be closed. I don't disagree with you, Steve. Hi, Miranda. Was it yesterday or today? Happy birthday to Miranda over there in Holland. The markets will always be the same. In some incredibly remote rural areas, these viruses happen a lot, and I do mean a lot. You will never get to hear of them because they're not connected by telephone. Do you know, telephones and the internet are still not around the world. We're very blessed. You and I are very blessed to be able to do what we're doing right now. We are the lucky ones. We really are. And it doesn't mean that everywhere else is the same. So we can't actually legislate for that. Nobody can. Hi to Kevin. You're very welcome, Miranda. Mwah. To you. And, that's Kevin Finch. Hello. Long time no see. So you can do something. So pretty please, remember what I'm saying. Wash your hands. Please. Use your soap and water. If you have to go out, and only if you have to go out, think about it. Have you got coffee? Yes. Got tea? Yep. You don't actually need milk, although it's nice. But if you've got the essentials, you don't need to go shopping for more of them. Wait. Why not use the stuff in your freezer that's been there for over a year? We all got that. We all have. So you can, actually you can, as Paul said, he thinks he saved £100 this weekend by not going shopping. Oh, thanks, Paul. Happy birthday in Dutch. Now, I can read it, but I couldn't have written it. That's for sure. Hello, Keith. I'm just whinging about the rotten journalists indirectly who keep giving everybody on the telly problems and the government problems with no solutions. And the solution is we are in control. We have the solution. not governments. You can prattle on till you're blue in the face about Boris doing this or Trump doing that or our new PM in Slovakia doing something else. Sorry, that's the phone. It doesn't make a lot of difference. It matters not. What matters is the solution. And if you'd have watched Piers this morning on Good Morning Britain chastising the health minister, it was ridiculous. You got the doctor on Good Morning Britain saying, no, this is what you need to do. Stop having a go at him. We need to do so. And I agree with him. I agree with him wholeheartedly. We don't have to go out. And as I said before, it's not the government's job to tell you when the petrol's going to run out on your car, or it's not the government's job to tell you to put oil in your car or the engine blows up. You have to take responsibility. It's about flipping time that more people take the responsibility. They should bring in wartime restrictions on journalists. Not all, Steve. Hi again, Keith. Not all, Steve. There are some really good public service broadcasting journalists out there. And they are there. You can see them now on television stations, on the radio. Much easier for people to listen on the radio, obviously. But they are there. And I think, if you see a headline where it's just a question, normal conditions, different. This is a special condition. If it's just, why aren't the government doing this as a headline, I wouldn't buy the paper. I wouldn't. Because they're not doing something for their readers. But they argue, we're challenging the government. No, you're not. You're writing headlines. You are not giving advice to your readers, which should be your duty. It should. And that's why I'm very proud of a lot of the public service broadcasters, and I've got quite a big foot in that area, who make programmes explaining to you how to do things in this situation. And there are some great ones out there. There really are. I've never seen it so busy round here. It's crazy. I don't get it, Keith. I really don't get it. Because most people have so much food at home, they could feed half the population with it. They seriously could. And so, you have to make that conscious decision. You. Nobody else. Not somebody in your local government, your parish council, your national government. They don't count. You are the one that counts. Nobody else. Nobody else. You are the one that counts. And if you want to help, certainly older people, people with medical conditions, the NHS in the UK, the medical service in your country, if you want to help them, the best way to do it is don't go mixing with people. Stand clear of other people when you go shopping. Pretty please. Then we'll nail the virus. We will nail the virus a lot quicker. Well, that's enough of me because... Hi, Susanna. It's terrible now that soaps have been cancelled. Couples around the country are finding out what it's like talking to each other. The horror. I agree, Steve. I agree. And it's a great thing. I don't know. I promised myself I wouldn't do this too long. But I have been already. So I'm sure some of you remember the 3-day week in the 1970s when the TV was turned off physically. Every channel was closed down at 10 o'clock at night and people listened to the radio. They also did funny things like play cards, talk to each other. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing what you can do. It doesn't have to be purgatory. And the truth is, if you're not happy with the horror you're suffering talking to your other half, the least amount of time you go out, the quicker you'll be able to go down the pub again. It's up to you. If you want to go for a beer or go to the social club or, go to the chippy or whatever, the more you stay inside now, the quicker you'll be able to go back out on the street and enjoy yourselves. It's as simple as that. That was the winter of discount tents, Steve. You're absolutely right. Anyway, I've been on here for 20 minutes and wrecked all your day, and I've got a great face for radio, but that's another thing. Life will carry on. I just want to say thank you to all the team at RTI, whether backroom team, presenters, whatever. Thank you ever so much for carrying on. We carry on. There is still music going out on the channel, and God willing, it will continue. Whilst there's power and internet, it will keep going. Don't worry about it. So listen to the radio, play cards, talk to people, but don't go out. Choice is yours. Speak to you soon and stay safe. Ciao.